I went to Heriot-Watt University. It's in Edinburgh, if you wouldn't know it. I certainly wouldn't have classed myself as political. I certainly wouldn't have called myself a campaigner or anything of the sorts. In fact, the reason I got involved was the simple reason that our class wasn't getting their exam scripts back after taking assessment, and we thought, how is that part of the learning process? And so we wanted to change something about it. But like so many in here no doubt recognise, it can get quite addictive. Once you realise that you can shape the learning environment on campus and how much space there is for making education better, that is something that's quite special and you can get really into it. And of course my mates didn't get it. Why would you give up your free time to do this stuff? Why are you not just thinking about getting your studies done or the social activities? Why are you wanting to give up your time? And I think stuff like the past leaders and the class rep of the year and how much enthusiasm they've got, my mates didn't get it. Of course, what they didn't get is actually the work that people in this room do changes people's lives. And you have an incredibly good students' union here at Brighton, one you should be incredibly proud of. You have run incredibly powerful education campaigns. I Love My Education and Engagement Week means you're actually talking about the issues that matter, not just a subsection of students on campus, but every single student that comes here to Brighton. And I think that's incredibly, incredibly powerful. But of course your institution is one that's really special too. You have 22,000 students, 40% mature students, multi-campus. Getting it right at this institution really matters to some of the people who could benefit most from education. And of all the things that Jacob talked about, the co-ops you're developing, the accommodation campaigns that you've got running, all the things that you're doing to make life here, that is incredibly special. And I guess I just want to take this opportunity, because it doesn't actually happen often at all, to thank the sabbaticals. It's not an easy job. They put their life and souls into it. I want to wish them the best of luck for next year. And I have written it down because you missed one out, and that is a faux pas that goes down badly. Jacob, Auntie, Ty, Joe, Holly, you've all done an incredibly special job, and I think we should take a moment to thank them for the work they've done. Because their work to make sure you've got a students' union that can engage in proper partnership is really important, because as I say, getting it right here is important to people's lives. But the word partnership and doing partnership is tough, it's difficult, and in fact too many institutions use the word as a smokescreen. We have buzzwords like engagement and student voice and learner-led, and what it actually boils down to is simply a passive model of asking people what they think, and that's it. But that's not what partnership is about. It's about culture. It's about making sure that because with all the structures in the world that you put in place, that's not going to deliver real partnership. If there's not mutual respect, real distribution of power across campus between academics and students, a belief that students as co-creators is not just useful, but in fact essential if you're going to deliver on better learning and active citizens. And despite everything the government's doing to education, despite all the assertions that somehow higher education is a commodity that can be given and received through a financial transaction, that's not why the people in this room do it. And that's why events like this are so incredibly important. And that's where all of you come in. Because all that highfalutin chat and political rhetoric about what education looks like and all the rest of it might seem a million miles away from what you have to deal with in, day out, whether you're a class rep or indeed an academic. But these awards are not just about saying nice things about people, they're about campaigning for change in learning and teaching. And I've heard some people talk about class reps in a way that I find really problematic, saying things like the issues that class reps deal with are small, irrelevant or myopic. Well, when your work on timetabling, making sure exams don't bunch and that timetabling means that classes are accessible, means that the single mum can be academically successful, I certainly don't call that small. When your work on feedback and assessment that means that a young lad whose parents maybe never went to university can be more academically successful and gets a better job at the end of it as a result, I certainly don't call that irrelevant. And when your work on things like hidden course costs mean that someone from a poorer background doesn't drop out because they don't have the disposable cash to be academically successful, that is certainly not myopic. So be proud. Be really bloody proud. Because the lecturers here go above and beyond their contract to deliver on something that is life-changing for their students. And the students here give up their free time to make sure that their peers and their friends and their colleagues can have a better time while they're at university. I hope that means that an institution like Brighton and events like this is a clear signal that Brighton takes partnership and engagement seriously. but it values students as partners and not as passive consumers. And it's proud and supports a strong and active students' union. And on behalf of 7 million students across the UK, thank you for all the work that you do.